Hi! Today we are heading to the Norwegian island of Svalbard, also known as Spitsbergen by many. It's situated much further north than the northernmost point of continental Europe, the North Cape. Spitsbergen is positioned at approximately 78–79 degrees north altitude, and its permanent population doesn't exceed 3,000 people. You can move around without weapons only in towns. If you venture beyond, you will encounter a sign saying "Beware of polar bears," indicating that you should proceed with weapons. The primary city and capital of Svalbard is Longyearbyen, where the majority of the archipelago's inhabitants reside. There, you will find hotels, museums, a supermarket, and even a shopping center. An interesting fact is that it's common to remove your shoes when entering the building. Even in the museum, they will ask you to do so. Fortunately, they don't require it in restaurants and supermarkets. Prices in supermarkets are a bit higher than in continental Europe, but not significantly. You can buy anything from Mexican sauces to tropical ripe mangoes. There are also plenty of souvenirs. On the outskirts of the town, you can find large pens with cages for sled dogs. Owners come to them from time to time for walks and trainings. I arrived in Svalbard at the end of June, when the longest days are 24 hours. Yes, that's correct. Spitsbergen is located far beyond the Arctic Circle, and the sun here in the summer doesn't set below the horizon. If you travel to polar latitudes in the summer, I recommend bringing a sleeping mask. Many in our teams couldn't sleep otherwise. I'm embarking on a trip to the western fjords and base of Spitsbergen on a small 70-meter yacht, and there will be 10 of us in total, including the captain. So, it's impossible to avoid night and galley watches. Our yacht has everything we need: a refrigerator and freezers, a supply of drinking water, a mechanism for desalination of ocean water, and fuel and wind power generators, 2 showers with toilets, and even satellite communication. The captain says we are leaving in the evening, as the wind should calm down a bit. So we spend the first day exploring the surrounding area and, of course, the museum. And now we are leaving the port. The water is murky, the wind is blowing, and my watch starts in 4 hours at exactly midnight. Time flew by unnoticed. The waves got stronger. We reached the middle of the fjord. What many people usually experience is seasickness. Going up into the fresh air helps a lot. Of course, you can take pills, but then your body won't adapt. So sometimes it's worth waiting out the unpleasant symptoms and sailing calmly the rest of the way. Depending on which coast we pass, sometimes there are a lot of birds, seagulls, puffins, cormorants, and sometimes no one, just the ocean and you. And here is the first interesting place, a cape with walruses. It's good that the large cruise ship is already sailing. We won't be crowded with hundreds of other tourists at the Walrus Rookery. We approach the shore in a small inflatable boat with a motor, but first we need to lower it. This isn't a completely straightforward task, given its weight with the motor.
Chodźmy za daleko w temat.
Rzucaj.
Jeszcze mi
And here we all are on the shore. From a convenient beach for a stop to see the walruses, you need to walk about 500-700 meters, and there, the smell, the growl of walruses, the cries of seagulls. But very quickly, you stop noticing the inconvenience and are completely immersed in observing these giants.
między sobą tam dosyć ostro konkurują.
O, jaka malutka. Słuchajcie, zrobimy tak. Możecie podejść dosłownie na 4-5 zdjęć, tam gdzie stoi Olga, i my się wycofamy troszkę. Dobra?
Male Atlantic walruses can reach a weight of 1,500 kilos. Females are slightly smaller, but just imagine these sizes. Interestingly, walruses have tusks in both males and females, and it can reach a length of 1 meter, although essentially they are just modified teeth. The main thing walruses do on the shore is lie, roll, fart, and growl at a careless neighbor. That's all. Having seen enough of walruses, we move on. We don't have a loudspeaker on the yacht, but if something interesting appears on the horizon, it's worth going down to the salon and shout. We all hope for the whale or polar bear, and the fact that it's already the 4th day on the road in the north and still not a single bear. And then one day at about 4 in the morning, when everyone was sleeping peacefully, a shout was heard, a bear. And now you quickly get dressed, grab your camera and run out onto the deck shouting, "Where? Where?" The bear ended up in the water. How they managed to spot it remains a mystery. But now he has already swum to the shore and comes out shaking himself off the water. We can't get closer, it's too shallow here. So we just watch the bear leisurely strolling along the shore. Our bear turned out to be a bass lover and set off to swim to a small island. Here we could get a little closer to it, but still remain at a safe distance and not disturb the animal. And a little later we noticed a couple more bears on the same island, a mother and a 1-year-old bear cub. They walked a little far away, trying not to approach the male. What brought them all here? The answer to this question was in the water, the dead walrus. And as you know, polar bears do not disdain carrion. But everything comes to an end someday, and the bear went over the hill, and we went further north. Our goal is to reach 80 degrees north latitude. But it's only the beginning of July, and the ice may hinder us. Still, we have a small yacht, not a huge cruise ship with a rainforest hull. We went to almost 80 degrees. We were almost there, but the ice was getting more and more, and the captain decided not to risk. Icebergs, large and small, rushed overboard, and we sailed south. On the way, we entered Fjords, went by boat and hiked the Glaciers. You should always be careful here, as a lot of ice slides off the glaciers, and sometimes these are very large icebergs. One of the enjoyable activities on a yacht is fishing, especially when the captain is knowledgeable about what, how and where to fish. In just half an hour, we caught an abundance of fish beyond our wildest dreams. We prepared ceviche and fish tartare with some, while the rest were frozen as a gift for friends in New Alesund. When in Spitsbergen, a must-visit is the town of New Alesund. It's a town of scientists, and it's home to the northernmost post office in the world. During the summer, the village is bustling with life, but in the winter, only a handful of people remain. What's interesting is that researchers from all countries eat together in the same canteen, so you can't buy much food here. There is no need. Everything will be brought and prepared for you. On our way from New Alesund, we also made a stop at New London. There is little left here except for a dilapidated house and the rusty remnants of some machinery. Just as we were about to take a stroll around the area, armed of course, a Coast Guard boat landed on the shore, and a friendly lady approached us. It turned out that a polar bear had been spotted nearby at the lighthouse, and caution was advised. So, our walk was cancelled again due to a polar bear in the vicinity. Despite having weapons and being a group, polar bears can be very aggressive, and they are protected. So, any shot, even towards a bear, is scrutinized by the police. If precautions haven't been taken to avoid encountering the bear and shots are fired, then you are considered responsible. Also, the walk was cancelled we could still approach the lighthouse by boat and attempt to spot a polar bear. An hour of shoreside observation with binoculars proved successful, and we spotted a bear. It was lying on a snowy island in the distance, and unfortunately, there was no opportunity to get closer. Nevertheless, it marked our 5th polar bear sighting on this trip. The final attraction on our journey is Pyramid, an old mining town from the Soviet era, now owned by Russia. It was shut down in 1998, and since 2007 it has essentially become an open-air museum. Visiting is free, you just have to make your way there. You can also experience Soviet canteen cuisine at a local restaurant, and for an additional fee, explore closed houses with a guide. It feels like time stood still in Pyramid, not in 98, but in 78, if not earlier. Our 2 weeks in Svalbard are coming to an end, and we encountered walruses, polar bears, seals, and numerous seabirds. Humpback whales showed us their fins a couple of times, and beluga whales once. Also, we haven't been as fortunate with whales as we have been with polar bears. Nature operates on its own terms. Some may see everything in 3 days, while others might not spot a bear or whales even in 2 weeks. Traveling to polar regions is an incomparable experience. So, if you are tired of beaches, it might be the time to head north. Subscribe, like, and more exciting travels await you.